Alright guys, hello, good morning. I hope you guys had a good weekend, good trading day. Morning, I'm not gonna lie, Nasdaq smoking on that gas pack was actually so choppy today. I ended up getting break even stopped. And yeah, I woke up late, and however I still managed to take this trade. This trade fit everything I wanted in my criteria, and no, I was not rushing. Um, I did get a feeling that I was rushing, but to be honest, when I did like my analysis while I was in the trade again, because I analyzed while before I took a trip before I took it. Then I analyzed while I was in it, and I was like, yeah, no, this is like good. Like it was like matching with everything. But I'm not going to lie, ES was definitely the better play, as you guys can see. Um, Nasdaq just chopping up insanely, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Okay, first things first. Um, Coming into the daily bias, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have any daily bias. Um, excuse me. Since one, I woke up late. Two, I just saw from last night after our new week opening gap. I kind of wanted this. Excuse me. I kind of wanted this to be the drawn liquidity, like for me today, but obviously, as we can see, London session did that. And to be honest, today was mainly just marking out levels and just following the trend. I wasn't set on a daily bias. If longs look good, then I'd find a way to look for longs. If shorts look good, then I'd find a way to look for shorts. When I came into market open, we were heavily in the discount on ES, and we were pushing up on Nasdaq. So with that being like a little bit like uncorrelated, I was honestly looking for a reason to go long, mainly because like if you look on the top of us, we have more draws and liquidity than we have to the downside, at least in my opinion. Especially on the 5 minute, we have like so many low resistance lows right here. I mean, it's low resistance highs right here, and then we have this unfilled gap, and then we also have this high that I'm not really targeting. But you see what we say? We have like a whole bunch of like low resistance draws and liquidity to the downside, and wow, Diddy candle. But um, but with the way the indexes were looking, it was honestly, I don't really see any setups for shorts, to be honest. So I'm kind of glad I caught these longs, and I got break even stopped. But I mean, it's the way of the game. I'm not really tripping, to be honest. And yeah, let's talk about it. So first things first, I'm not going to lie. I came in the market at like 9:45. So today I was honestly waiting for macro to start because this price action was looking like a bit stupendous and horrendous. But excuse me. But I mean, yeah, that is pretty much it. Um, we had this SMT at the lows. Obviously, this SMT just got ran through, but we had this SMT at the lows with ES and Nasdaq. The reason why I chose Nasdaq today was because we ended up not sweeping out the low. Um, and I figured, this was going to be, since this is the index that didn't sweep the low, we were gonna have just more volatility to the upsides to the draws and liquidity to the unfilled gap to this 15-minute high right here. And obviously, as you can tell, we did not. But we ended up, excuse me, we ended up inversing this little tiny gap. On top of that, let me take this out. Oh wait, what was that? Oh no, that's the gap that we're in right now currently. Okay. So one thing I'll also mention is that we didn't even inverse this gap completely. That's why we made a reversal, because we're just rejecting from it. That makes sense actually. Okay. One thing to notice, I mean, one thing to note was that we ended up having this inversion gap. From there, we ended up having our change of state. From there, we were also in equilibrium. I set a limit order for this unfilled gap. Let's mark it out right here. I know it seems a little bit messy, so I'm gonna clear literally a lot of things up for you guys. So I know we had this unfilled gap after we inverse this gap after we change the state. Continuation change the state. Um, or practically a proportion block, but um as you can see, I set a limit order. Literally got filled to the tick, which was beautiful. My limit orders from yesterday, from Friday and today, I've been playing off sweet, which was really good. Around this time, ES literally came in, filled in this gap after we inversed this gap and made another gap as well after our actual change to stay right here with the SMT. So before we even have the right side printed, this was already looking like a really good setup. This was already looking like a really good setup. I'm not going to lie. Only thing that I didn't really like about ES was one, this SMT had equal lows. But then again, if it was a true SMT, it would have been, protected, and it was protected because we ran through this other internal SMT, which was just a fake one. Um, on top of that, we ended up literally changing the state and then coming down to fill the gap. But that was the only thing that Loki like bothered me. The only thing that Loki bothered me with that one. Other than that, this setup would have been honestly perfect just because of like the target that I had for this. But we'll talk about that later. And then from there, after we filled it in, we ended up, we were in profit. Obviously, we came back for a drawdown with a 5 minute retrace. That was perfectly fine though. My stop was actually beautiful. My stop was originally, oh no, damn, it's still here. My stop was actually at this gap right here, in that gap at the SMT low. So I was perfectly fine with going through a little bit of drawdown, especially because it's a 5 minute retrace. So I was like, oh, that's perfectly fine. A 5 minute retrace. You know what I'm saying? And then after we got that 5 minute retrace, we ended up going up. I ended up going break even at a 1-to-1 because that is low key like the method for me. Either a 1-to-1 or 1-to-1.5, I go break even. We didn't have strong displacement, so it was kind of bad. Not kind of bad. We didn't have strong displacement, which is also something I usually look for with going break even. But we ended up hitting our 1-to-1, so I was like, you know what, I'm perfectly fine. This 15 minute was gonna be the start of trailing stops just a little bit, and then this unfilled, I mean not unfilled, and then these failure swings on the 15 minute and on the 1 minute. But these failure swings right here, this is so juicy though. I still want this, bro. But these failure swings were going to be what was I gonna say? We're going to be, more of trailing until like the last take profit was going to be this 50% of the unfilled gap. Mainly, I was gonna show stops because this was a 3.5 and I was risking one mini. So again, I'm not trying to go above 1.5k if this were to play out. So obviously I'd just be trailing stops and then just looking at the P&L. Since we went break even, I'm literally only up like 34 cents on the day. I mean, like, like whippy. Um, but I mean, yeah, that was the target for Nasdaq. Yes, this was honestly like really, really good. To be honest, like the more I genuinely like look at it while the trade was playing out, the take profit for ES was honestly this unfilled 5 minute was really just like not the in race, just like I just wanted like the unfilled 5 minute, just because ES was just such in a deep discount. I was like, okay, yeah, there's like we just have to hit it. Um, we ended up just like tanking to the downside after that and sweeping out London session lows. So I was like, yeah, we kind of need like a relief to the upside. So that was honestly like what my whole draw on liquidity was really like based upon. And then from there, literally everything had played out on ES. Do I regret not taking it? Obviously not. To be honest, I like Nasdaq more just because of my reasoning. Like I said, the S&T that didn't sweep out the low is not most of the time, is a lot of the times prone to have not prone, bound to have more velocity, more strength towards whatever drawn liquidity. Obviously, same thing goes for the ones that sweep the low. It's just a matter of your choosing. Today, I just chose this one because I liked it. In hindsight, could this trade have been avoided? Yes. Why could it have been avoided? Just because of like this barcode as price action. But I mean, I was able to find an entry, so I mean, like I'm happy I was able to find an entry, and it's like it wasn't even like I was like chopped in, like it wasn't even like I was like in like not profit and then profit. I was actually in profit for like a good amount of times, and then when I went break even, the whole world just decided to flip on me. So I mean, I'm not really like tripping. ES was definitely the better move on this one, and then I usually check for equilibrium. If equilibrium was usually hit, wow, equilibrium was actually hit. That's crazy. So ES offered the A plus setup. Nasdaq offered a barcode setup. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm not regretting that I took this. This matched everything. It was just an unfortunate way of going. One thing to also mention in hindsight now, ES was in a discount while Nasdaq was in a premium, like just in general while we were logging. ES definitely would have been the better one just because we did need a relief to the upside, and we were like, if the higher time frame trend is bearish, which is what it's looking like, but obviously, we're just going through some consolidation. ES didn't tap into any supporting PD arrays to go lower. So this trade definitely made sense. Go tapping into this unfilled 5 minute if we were truly bearish. Because what happened after we tapped the unfilled 5 minute? We ended up having a sell off to the downside. So I mean, overall, this trade would have been fire. But on ES, I usually tend to risk more because one mini on ES is like 150. It's $175, buddy. No, I'm not. What? I'm usually either risking 2 minis or 3 minis, and not I'm not risking 3 minutes on ES. I lied, but I'm usually risking 2 minutes to be honest. But yeah, this trade definitely would have been a W. But however, I'm perfectly fine with this break-even trade. Honestly, break-even trade is better than a losing trade, and yeah, I mean honestly, later PM session, I've noticed that around 1 a.m. not 1 a.m. 1 p.m. open. 1 p.m. open is like really good for like catching like setups that are already like from the end of lunch hour to like whatever like the remaining draw is. But excuse me. I think that's pretty much it for today's video. We ended up just getting break even stops. Um, Everything followed the rules. Literally, I just waited. Even waking up late, I still ended up like being able to wait. Crazy thing is, we just tapped into, we literally filled in this 15 minute, but we are rejecting from the hourly. So like, if we had inversed this hourly gap, then I genuinely think these draws and liquidity would have been like sweet and simple, shoot, like just boom straight up there. But we didn't end up inversing the gap, which was pretty unfortunate. But like I said, it is the way of the game. So and we were also coming out from this 4 hour gap, so I mean that's also pretty unfortunate. But I mean, like I said, better to go break even than to either lose. So I mean, and this price action is just not the best for my liking. But I'm happy I was able to catch something. But that's pretty much it. I will see you guys either later if I take another trade during PM session, just because this one's break even, or I might just call it quits and then just literally just continue on with my day. Or yeah, or I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Oh my god, bro, we hit 200 followers, bro. Bro, we hit 200 followers. I just want to thank you guys so much because I know literally like almost all of you guys here follow me on TikTok, or like a good chunk of you guys. So like thank you guys so much for 200. We're so freaking close to 100, and it's crazy. Like I low key think I'll hit 100 when I'm like when I pass the funded, because that'll actually like gain more traction, and like that'll like put me out to be like, okay, this kid is actually like gaining like a little bit of traction, not like a lot of traction, but like a little bit of traction. You know what I mean? So like I'm not in a rush to hit 100, but that is definitely on the goal. Definitely on the goal. I'm not gonna lie. Like what's especially for someone that's just posting recaps. Like don't worry. For all you guys that have just been sticking around, bro, it's not gonna be just recaps. You just have to give me time in order to like keep getting my foot wet with trading. Not getting my foot wet, but just like keep swimming. Cause I'm telling you, this is really just the beginning, man. This is really just the beginning. Like I'm just so hyped for this. This is like insane. But I just want to thank you guys for 200 followers and almost 100 subs. So if we can hit 100 subs, literally by the end of the year, bro, dog, that'll be such a blessing. Cause the content from there is gonna be pumped out and pumped out and pumped out. But without further ado, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video or later's video. I love you guys. Peace